Man, something has shifted in NASCAR lately, and if you have been watching every single weekend like I have, you can feel it. There is this narrative that people were so sure about not that long ago, like locked in, no debate, case closed. Everyone thought they had this specific driver completely figured out. They said he was just a novelty, a one-trick pony who could only turn left and right, and that the moment he hit the banking, he would fade into the background. But true NASCAR fans know that you cannot judge an elite talent by a few rough races. Before we dive into exactly who is flipping the script and why the entire garage is suddenly on high alert, I need you to do me a quick favor. If you love deep dives into the sport and honest conversations about the drivers we watch every Sunday, hit that like button and consider subscribing right now. This channel is just getting started. We are pushing toward 1,000 subscribers, and I want you to be part of this grassroots community from the ground up. All right, so let us talk about the man himself, Shane Van Gisbergen. When SVG first exploded onto the scene back in 2023, it was nothing short of legendary. Winning Chicago instantly proved he was a dominant road course specialist, bringing this elite motorsports background from supercars that just translated perfectly to the streets and the braking zones. Nobody could touch him. But then came the harsh reality of stock car racing. The transition to ovals in 2024 and 2025 was a massive struggle. It was a completely different beast, and the frustration was incredibly evident. You could see it in his post-race interviews. He was honest about how difficult it was to figure out the aero wake, the tire wear on concrete versus asphalt, and just the sheer intensity of racing side-by-side at 200 miles per hour on intermediate tracks. The critics came out of the woodwork immediately. They looked at his finishes at Kansas and Vegas and laughed, saying he would never figure out drafting tracks or short tracks. They claimed his road course wins were a fluke of circumstance, and that he was fundamentally unsuited for traditional NASCAR competition. And honestly, for a minute there, even some of his biggest supporters were starting to wonder if the mountain was just too steep to climb. But here is where the story gets so exciting. SVG never made excuses. He admitted his shortcomings with a level of humility that you rarely see in professional sports. He went to work. He spent countless hours in the simulator, leaning on his teammates, studying telemetry, and recovering from early setbacks with a quiet, dangerous determination. He respected the process and respected the difficulty of oval racing. Fast forward to NASCAR 2026, and the narrative has completely shifted. If you are looking at the same data I am, you know exactly what I am talking about. The recent release of NASCAR Advanced Stats paints a picture that should terrify every other driver in the garage. Let us look at his adjusted points plus index over the last 10 oval races. This is a metric that factors in equipment, track type, and running position, not just raw finishes. In 2024, his index on ovals was dwelling in the bottom tier. In 2025, we saw a slight bump, but he was still just surviving out there. But in 2026, SVG has vaulted into the top 10 in adjusted points, plus index on ovals. This is not a fluke. He is actively improving his average running position, earning critical stage points, and showing a mastery of tire management that takes most drivers a decade to learn. He is no longer just holding onto the lead lap. He is racing inside the top 10, making aggressive passes on the outside, and showing a level of car control on the banking that is turning heads. And you do not just have to take my word for it. The social proof is everywhere, and the peer validation is pouring in from the absolute best in the business. Just last week, Denny Hamlin said on his podcast that Shane's progression on intermediate tracks is the most impressive learning curve he has ever witnessed in his career. Chase Elliott echoed that sentiment, noting how clean but aggressive SVG has become on short tracks, specifically pointing out his ability to manipulate the throttle on corner exit without burning up the rear tires. Christopher Bell mentioned that when he sees him in his mirror at a drafting track now, he treats him with the exact same respect he would a seasoned veteran. That is massive. When guys like Hamlin, Elliott, and Bell are openly praising your oval skills, you are doing something incredibly right. It proves his work ethic is paying off as SVG is transforming before our eyes. This brings us to the most dangerous realization for the rest of the field. What happens when a dominant road course specialist, a guy who is practically a lock for a win and guaranteed playoff entry every time the series turns left and right, suddenly figures out how to run up front on ovals? You get a complete championship threat. Think about the implications for the chase format. Under the current playoff system, you need to survive the ovals to advance. You need to bank stage points, avoid the big mistakes, and consistently put yourself in a position to capitalize when the race gets chaotic. SVG is doing exactly that in 2026. By neutralizing his biggest weakness, he has weaponized his greatest strength. He does not need to win every oval to be a title contender. He just needs to run well enough to advance to the rounds, where his road course supremacy can punch his ticket to the championship. For the contrast between his early oval struggles and his current methodical execution is staggering. It is a testament to his elite talent and his unwavering dedication. So, what does this all mean for the rest of the 2026 season? I am going to make a bold prediction right here, right now. I anticipate that Shane van Gisbergen is not just going to win another road course this year. I predict he is going to secure a top 5 finish on a traditional mile-and-a-half intermediate track before the playoffs begin, and he will make a deep run in the chase. He is proving everyone wrong, dismantling the narrative that international stars cannot adapt to stock car ovals, doing it with a smile. But I want to hear from you. Drop down into the comments right now and tell me your predictions. Do you think SVG has what it takes to point his way into the championship for this year? Is his oval improvement sustainable, or do you think he will hit a plateau? Let us get a debate going down there because I read every single comment. Before you head out, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more honest NASCAR talk, hit that like button and consider subscribing. We are pushing hard for our first 1,000 subscribers, and you matter to this community. Thank you all for watching. Keep supporting the sport, and I will see you in the next video.